This show is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. It is unquestionably good, and I'm going to go share one. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is time for another wonderful episode of The Bill
Bert.
Podcast. There we go. You know, everybody just has it on a split screen, so it doesn't matter.
I get joy when I see a reporter when they're, and we're going to throw to Bill, and he's just frozen. Thanks, Jane. I love that. I don't know why that makes me happy.
It's it's good, clean fun. Nobody gets hurt.
It's a little thing, Bill. It's a little thing.
What is going on? You got the tie-dye shirt, man. Like, where were you performing, man?
No,
someplace where they're keeping it weird, man. Austin, Portland.
No, Georgia. My daughter, Georgia, makes tie-dyed shirts, and she made this for me. And it's funny. You get rid of the yellow sweat stains on your white shirt. So I have a bunch of tie-dyed shirts now.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. You know, that took me way back to the early 70s when tie-dye shirts first went mainstream. And I remember being in, where the hell was I? In like first grade. And I was so psyched that they had purple. And I just remember you tied everything just was tied up in knots. Is that all you do? And you just
you can do it with rubber bands, or you can just tie the shirt in like 3 knots and then dunk it. But the ones with the rubber bands, you'd grab this part and then you'd pull it out and then you'd rubber band, and then it would give you a spiral from the stomach or the shoulder. You'd do it out from the shoulder. I actually was really into that kind of shit as a kid. I think my dad probably thought I was gay.
that would do it.
Oh, yeah, the fact that
70s and 80s, if you were just really into tie-dyeing shirts for his generation, he probably thought he had a little queen on his hands.
Oh, reupholstering
not saying you're not, Bert.
Reupholstering a couch. I used to reupholster couches in college, and I would get fabric, and I would do the whole couch. I'd pull the sides off, and I was like really into it. I don't know what part of my personality that like loves that shit, but I love like the knick-knackiness of it, you know?
Well, since I started watching people redo cars, one of my favorite things is when they take it over to the person to do. I love when the engine comes back and it's all painted and it's clean. I love that, and I love when the interior comes back and just to see what they're gonna do with like the colors and the seats and all that type of stuff. I mean, I don't know. As a college student, there was forever some old ass couch sitting out on a sidewalk that had been fucked on, drooled on, and all of this stuff. So if you knew how to rip that off and reupholster it and put some new cushions in there, that's a pretty viable skill there.
I would do it for free. I loved it. You know what? I'm at a real impasse right now because I need a car, and I'm having a really hard time finding a car that I want to drive, that I feel like I'd look good in, that isn't $100,000. Like I'm having a really hard time going, like, I'm not a pickup truck guy. So if I was a pickup truck guy, I could just get a cool pickup truck and then rock that, right? We have an SUV, so all SUVs are out of the thing. You go to sedans and you look at sedans, and it's like certain sedans, like I feel like my body is bigger than, like
Get a Cadillac.
I'm having a really hard time. Honestly, Cadillacs are too.
Not $100,000. You can get plenty of nice things.
I'm not spending. By the way, I'm not spending $100,000. I refuse to spend $100,000. So when you said redo a car, I was actually talking to Snoop about this the other day. I was like, I know you got a car guy. Can you set me up with a car guy in LA who I wouldn't mind, like a nice, like you have your pickup truck and you enjoy driving that.
I love it.
Could that be your only car? Would you let that be your only car?
Yeah, I could. I would be a little concerned with parking it in certain areas because it's a clean truck. And trucks, since I bought my truck in 2011, they've really become popular. They really, really, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that has become popular where, when those Mecum auto shows, those auctions first came on, I mean, it was just Shelby, Mopar, GTO. It was the same stupid cars. Not stupid cars. I love all those cars. But it was just this, we got a Superbird, It's just like this, one Daytona and was outlawed. It was the same damn stories. And I feel like since then, like a bunch of other cars has become like, popular. I can't literally not even remember what the fuck I was talking. What was your question?
No, like Could
What
that
is
be your
wrong
only
with me?
car? Because I want to get a nice convertible.
Oh yeah, I know. So
72
then my
Cadillac.
truck got super popular when I bought it. Afterwards, then trucks got popular just because I think people got sick of the same old thing. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say.
And so you're afraid that people would see your truck and realize that's a lot of money in parts. Let's steal it.
Or just steal it because they like it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. For you, dude, like I feel like there's a couple of really cool, like I love an Oldsmobile Cutlass, T-tops. If you want to white trash it up, there's things to do with that. Because this is the deal: is I like those resto mods where like you can, the whole underneath could be like 2020.
Yeah.
And then in the car can look like 1970, whatever you want. And they can hide in the console a place to plug in for your phone and all the latest stuff.
Ooh,
But when you're driving it can look all original. But like what I found, like with my truck, when I go to take a turn, I literally have to grab underneath the seat so I don't slide into the door because of just, it was like a farm truck. You know what I mean? So it's not really like they were excited about independent suspension. Remember that when they would be driving over the rocks, the railroad ties or whatever? So everybody who I asked, if I can fix the suspension a little bit on it, beyond a sway bar, they're always saying dropping it down. And it's like, what I always liked about a truck was riding up a little bit higher. Yeah. I thought it looked better. I don't mind when they're sitting down, but they've taken them now. Now that, they cut out inside the bed and the tires are sticking up. Those are cool. It's just not my style. But, dude, why don't you get a Grand National? Get a Buick Grand National. Because you couldn't drive it anywhere, someone would steal it. But like, how about you get? That's how excited I am about cars. I'm asking you questions while answering them. Get like one of those, like those early '80s. Remember all those guys who sort of like side deal weed? Those cars, the Monte Carlo, the Buick Regal.
Oh, I remember the Monte Carlo.
Yeah, those little two-door ones. Those early '80 ones to like '85. Right around '85, I think, or '86, they started having the aerodynamic headlights. It wasn't quite it took me a while to get used to those, but like, dude, one of those was some fucking old school like Kreischer rims with the white lettering on the tires.
Yeah.
Sort of looks like a stock car. That could be a badass car.
See, I have a hard time looking at cars and going, every car I seem to like is like $1,500 a month. And I go, I can't pay that. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if one day I'll get comfortable paying it, but I just cannot pay that. I know
that's a mortgage. That's a mortgage in any reasonable state. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I go, those are the cars I like that I go, oh, I love the S-Class Mercedes is a cool looking car. 7 Series BMW, that's a cool looking car. And I feel like it's I want a big bodied car. And then I go, for 18 grand, I can just get like a Cadillac convertible, like 76 or 72.
Dude, you could get such a sick fucking Cadillac. I know a bunch of guys that could build that thing. You could keep the thing looking like Nick Nolte's fucking caddy on the outside.
Yeah.
And then underneath. But people who know cars look underneath. You can always see the shiny shit, glowing underneath. But there's
I would love the underneath to be dialed in and like have a place for my cell phone, everything like that. But have that Nick Nolte baby blue like caddy body.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know why more people don't do that.
Yeah.
It's good for the environment. You're recycling. Granted, you are ripping a bunch of shit out and putting a bunch of new stuff in, but it is and then also you rescue one of those old cars. Dude, there's some, like, a lot of people get the ones from the 60s. There's some ones from the 70s before they shrunk them down that are really, like, sort of rare because I don't think that people necessarily liked after, like, there was a period in there where they had this new front end in the early 70s. I forget which one it was, but it kind of tanked. People didn't like it, and you can tell because they only had it for a couple of years before they went back to more of a traditional one, like the 75, that front end. It's somewhere between like 71 and 74. They had this front end that I don't think I might be wrong here, but I don't think it did that well. But now when I see them, because I don't see a lot of those, I'm like, oh my God, I got to look one up right now. I fucking love those. Let me look. See,
like, that's my thing, Bill. I go, why don't more people do that? Your car should be enjoyable to drive. Now, like, I just can't get into like what I'd be comfortable paying for is like, you know, and I got to be real honest with you, like the Camrys and Accords, they're really expensive. In my opinion, I think they're overpriced for that car. Everything's overpriced to a point where I just go, how did cars get so expensive? And then you look and go, why wouldn't I? I would love to drive that car every time. Fucking top down, light a cigar, enjoy your ride over the hills.
Exactly, dude. 71, 72, 73, they changed the front end 3 times. If you look up the Caddy. So I'm kind of partial to that 72 because I want to say that when Elvis got buried, his funeral, that was 77. You think I like the 72 personally.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it's a sled. Dude, a 2-door. You get a 2-door. Yeah.
2-door, white on white. Ooh, white with a maroon interior. 72 Cadillac Eldorado convertible.
That car is so you, it's ridiculous.
It really is. Bill,
I gotta tell you, you know, you like
$9,000.
That's it, $9,000. You could take another 30 grand if you really wanted to do it up. Another 30 grand just underneath, dude. It would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
30, maybe a little more than that. But I mean, under 50, you could have this sick. That's half of what you were talking about paying. You could have this sick ass car. Nobody's got that. I have not seen that car out here in LA, white with maroon, which is why you might not want to talk about it here because you're gonna have a bunch of people going Bert as you're driving down the street. But like, yeah, I'm telling you, one of these days I'm gonna get the 67 Eldorado. That's the one that I like because I'm not a speed guy. I like cruising. I'm an old man.
Me too.
I got this Irish sweater I bought. What do you call a jumper, whatever the hell they call them over in Ireland. I got that, and I smoke cigars. I love the right lane, dude. I feel the left lane. That's for the kids. That's for the kids. Let them do all that crazy shit.
I feel like I became older at a time where things weren't set up for older people. It's like now it's Teslas and this shit. I wish I had been I had been my age today in 2002 when the Cadillac DTS was out. That was such a great sedan. Cadillac DTS.
You can still get it. It's 18 years old.
The bodies of those cars are so small. They're really small, and they're not like they're everything's compact.
I get it. You want a big car. All right. Well, there you go.
Adam Sandler had a DTS. MTV used to have A Day in the Life, was a documentary show, and they profiled Adam Sandler. And Adam Sandler was 35 and in a Cadillac DTS. It was like an old man's car. My dad had one. And I saw Adam Sandler, a Hollywood star in a DTS. And it looked like the coolest fucking thing. And then I moved to LA. That was when I was in New York. I moved to LA and I saw Kiefer Sutherland in a Cadillac DTS. And I was like,
this car up now. I'm not familiar with this one.
It was. And Bill, I meet my wife and I'm like, I'm going to go buy a car, right? So I go and I test drive the DTS.
Oh, yeah. I know that car. Yeah, and they had the tires with the yellow stripe around it.
Yeah.
That's a sick car. I love that car.
Sick car. And so I said to my wife, I test drove it and I go, I'm getting a DTS. And she goes, honey, you are not that old. You're like 29. And she's like, this is an old man car. She's like, get something young, like who you are. So I ended up getting one of my favorite cars I've ever had, Yukon Denali. That was a hot fucking car.
Was that a big SUV?
Big SUV, and I got a great deal, $500 a month, nothing down. The dude kind of fucked it up, and then they tried to take it back from me. So they're like, I think we gave you too much of a deal on that. And I was like, I already had it 18 days. You can't take it back. And so that was the law, is if you had it over 18 days, they couldn't. And I would
think once you drive away, it's done.
I was told.
Have they ever called up, hey, I think we fucked you too bad on that car. Let's have you come back down here.
They did, and they tried to get the car back. It was $500, $550 a month, nothing down. And the dude, it was his first day. And Dave Williamson, the guy comic I work with now, told me long after that, you always want to call a car dealership up and go, hey, I was just in there the other day. I was talking to the new guy. What's his name? And they go, oh, you mean Bill? And he goes, yeah, Bill. Send me over to Bill. Because he goes, the new guy they always want to close deals for to get some sales under his belt. So you can always work a deal with the new guy. They always will give you a better deal with the new guy. So this guy must have been brand new, $550 a month. And then they realized they fucked up, and I was already on the road. The car was home, and I couldn't get to the car. I was on the road. And the thing they used was, and this is how long ago this is that I didn't give them a landline. All I had was a cell phone. And they were
That's
like,
when you go, yeah, it sounds to me like you're reaching for shit. So
yep.
I'm done with this phone call. I'll see you in court. Bye.
Yep. And so
like I'm going to go back there to we didn't stick our dick far enough in your ass. Well, let me go back into the showroom. Get the fuck out of here. Dude, I can really see you in one of those. You got to get yourself a nice sled.
Yeah.
I think it's, furthermore, I think it's good for your business.
I think it is too. It's great for branding, Bill.
It is. It's great for branding. I've learned stuff being with you. Like that car, that is you. And people are going to, and this is another thing too. You can't hate on somebody that has that fucking car. You just can't. Like if you had if you're the Machine and I'm inner tubing and I'm blah 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 blah, and then you had like a S550 fucking AMG, it's like it's just a character.
It's just a character. He's not the guy.
No, like I could see you stepping out of that Boss Hog mobile, big time. I want to see it. I get so much joy out of my friends getting cool cars, old cars, new cars. I love cars so much. I get Dean was great because Dean would always be going through motorcycles and cars and shit. It was always fun to see him. Rogan with all of his, the ones that he does. He's got excellent taste in cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always get I tell so many people that. It's like, why don't you just go get a car from like the 80s and just redo underneath the thing. And then, just have them, touch up the upholstery a little bit and throw something in there so you can charge your phone and listen to your music. And you can park it anywhere. Nobody's going to give a fuck because they're not going to know what's up. And the insurance will be lower, right? Well, I don't know when they say how much money you put into it, but whatever. I just think that is the way to go as opposed to, getting something new. I mean, I got 2 little kids, so I gotta get a, right now I'm actually in the market to get something because we had sort of a sporty SUV for my wife. And once you get the 2 car seats in there and it has like a real sort of short hatchback, and then all of a sudden it's just, it's annoying to me that it's like, we used to stick 5 kids in the back of a Chevette. We did. We had 2 kids in the hatchback and then there was 3 of us sitting across.
Okay.
But there was no kid seats back then. There was no child seats.
Do you know what car they're coming out with that I'm really excited about? And I don't know. I don't know if this
new
car.
Bronco.
No, yes, but they have redone the Grand Wagoneer.
Oh, the Jeep.
Do you remember the Grand Wagoneer with the paneling and the big? That was a big. That's a car I could drive around in. If I bought an old Grand Wagoneer and had them trick it out, that's a fucking car I could get in.
What is stopping you?
Oh, Bill, I might get an old Grand Wagoneer, get it really done out, and that be my car. I would be happy when I was oh my God, I'm so excited right now. When I was 14 years old, this kid, I forget his name, he was the quarterback for our football team. He was a sophomore, and I was playing junior varsity. I was in like 7th or 6th grade, and I was playing on the JV team in high school because it was a private school. I know everyone was small. And he said to me, God, I wish I could remember this kid's name. He goes, hey, man, can you pull my car around? And I was like, yeah. He thought I was like 15. And I went out, and it was a Grand Wagoneer. It's the first car I ever drove. I was 14 years old. And I was like, I'm just like, the steering wheel's like this. And I never touched the gas. It moved so quickly. I put it in reverse, took my foot off the brake, and I went, vroom, and I went, hold on.
Oh, wow.
Grand Wagoneer. I want a Grand Wagoneer. God.
I was actually going to say Grand Wagoneer when you guys started. That or El Camino, but I just kept my mouth shut. I should have said.
No.
You would have had him.
Oh,
66 El Camino. Because if you only want a 2-seater, if you want that like cool car, that's the way to ditch the back.
Ooh, what a good-looking car. The Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Oh, my God, Bill. What a good look. That's a fucking beast. Oh, these have got to be expensive as shit. Do you
You know
get
what's
navy
hot
blue
right
or
now?
baby blue?
You know what's hot right now is Vans. Vans are finally making a comeback because they got labeled, pedophile mobiles and all of that. And I remember when custom vans were in their heyday, sort of the end of the heyday. We went to our whole family went to the auto show. We used to go every year.
For real?
And we used to go to the boat show. We never bought anything. We would just go to all of this shit. So it showed up, and we showed up to the thing, and that was when they had all like the velour captain's chairs.
Yeah.
Right. And you could all spin around and like talk to each other and shit. And we would telling my dad, come on, Dad, you got to buy that van. You got to buy it. Then he goes, it'd be great. He got like all amped up about it and he never bought the thing. But even then, I know my parents that if we actually spun around to talk to each other, they would tell us not to do it. It's dangerous. There was like a governor on fun,
Yeah.
which ended up being like a good thing.
20 grand. A
20 grand for what?
1989 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Oh, man.
I'm looking it up now.
In the 80s, they call it the Goldilocks era of SUVs. I was like the first.
What color do you like?
I mean, I kind of want white, but I feel like white looks like a mom's car. Navy blue would look pretty great. Navy blue with the wood panel.
Yeah, the Grand Wagoneer is so better than just the Wagoneer.
Yeah, Grand Wagoneer.
Dude, I'm looking at one in like a black or a gray. That's sweet. This person redid this one.
Yeah.
They took all the wood off the side. If you're into that, you can, if you're not into it, you can do that.
$24,000. And if you go in, Bill, and do what you said. So there are companies you say that like can really take
the whole hot rod scene started out here, dude. There's some of the best builders in the country are right out here in Los Angeles. One of the guy who did my truck, he actually moved to Arizona. He got sick of the taxes and shit out here, but like he knows everybody out here. So if that's what you're looking to do, or he's just right in Arizona, so you could literally call him, tell him what you wanted. He'll go out and find it. He picks the whole thing up, and then he just goes, all right, I need this amount of money to get it started. And then he'll just send you pictures as it's going, and then you just know. Dude, you know what I almost bought a few years ago, which would have been so perfect right now? I've been giving my wife shit about it. In 2018, I was going to buy one of those GMC RVs, the one from Stripes. I was going to get that in the Palm Desert one, the lime green. I was going to get that, have a humidor in there and a little bar. I was still drinking at the time. And I was just going to hire a driver and just go on the road. And I was saying to my wife now, because it's scary to fly and all this shit right now. I was like, because the big thing that nixed it was where was I going to keep it?
Yeah.
That was the big problem. I can't just park that out in front of my friggin' house, be that person. The person with the RV next to the house and the tall grass around the wheels before they had weed whackers. That used to always happen. So she nixed the idea, and I was saying, like, do you understand that I could have hopped in that thing right now, started a run in Bakersfield, and just gone and just done a big loop, gone all the way out to Utah, out to Grand Junction, Colorado, down to Santa Fe, and just loop my way all the way back, making money the whole way.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There's a guy, Chase Leopard. Do you know who he is?
No, but I love his name.
Yeah, he's a really cool
Leopard. That's his birth name.
Yeah, and I'm certain he's a massive fan of yours. He's a big fan of podcasts. He's like the ultimate like great dude to have in your corner because he loves podcasts and he loves comedy and he is really good with social media and he can grab content and he's really an amazing dude. I an amazing guy. But what he did when the pandemic happened is bought a fucking RV, redid it, and just is now traveling all through the Northwest. And I follow him on social media, and it just looks so great. He's out in the middle of a field in nowhere, like big lake next to him, family with him. And he's like, and you just go, yeah, like, why? I mean, that's why I love being on a tour bus. We should pivot and talk about your tour. Are you taking a tour bus?
No, I'm flying to, oh shoot, I got to make a video to promote that. Fuck. I'm flying to Connecticut, and I'm doing this barn on a farm where they've been having live music and everything. It's a great gig. And, my agent went there, watched a band, and looked at the crowd to make sure that they were really doing their due diligence to make sure people weren't, being unsafe. So I'm there, and then I'm at that place in Jersey, whatever Kevin Hart just did, I'm doing that. And
is that the one Gaffigan did? Or I did it too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I will say this in your video, or for you people listening, check out the laws in Jersey before you go, because they're pretty strict with people not getting out of their cars. They were a little looser for me. They were really strict for Gaffigan. But if you have a pickup truck or an SUV or a van, make sure you bring whatever. They will not allow cars with big lifts in a lot of times. These are just rules that are really helpful for the fans going to the show. But it's great if you have a pickup truck, because they'll let you sit in the bed of your pickup truck, and then you can kind of tailgate there. But they're going to not let you go and hang around and walk around. But that's a fun fucking show. There's a lot, man. It's interesting to see how people are doing it. So those are the two shows you're doing on this tour?
Those are the two places where I'm going to be. I'm just sort of doing like a residency at both places, like doing 4 or 5 days at one, 4 or 5 days at the other.
Oh, you're doing the smaller venue in Jersey?
I don't know what they are. Bro.
Doing the Blue Grotto, but it's sold out.
Yeah, you're doing where they set up tables in an infield.
Yeah.
That's different.
I'm not doing drive-ins. I'm not doing the big rooms like you, Bert.
Hey, listen.
Oh, you're doing the smaller room.
No, I wish
Isn't it enough that you got my quarterback? You got to rub it in.
No. My point is, those
Playing
are
Lake
great.
Winnipesaukee.
Those are great. I've heard Bert Bigley did a run there. Kevin Hart did a run there. That's a great venue, and I think there's going to be more like that in the future.
No, and it's going to happen out here on the West Coast. And if I had my fucking RV, I could have driven to all of them.
Yeah, I think I'm doing some of those. I think there's one in Colorado and New Mexico that I'm doing, and I'm doing it. When are your dates? When do you go? What are your dates? Do you know?
I think I start what's today? Tuesday? A week from Wednesday. So today's the
29th?
15th, 16th, and 7th to 23rd, I think I start. Don't hold me to that.
Okay.
It's the 22nd. The show's at the Fairfield Comedy Club. They sold out about an hour ago. So
nice.
Wow. All right.
That's gonna be fun, man. It's good to get back into stand-up mode where you start writing jokes again, and your brain allows you to like focus on comedy again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm up for it. I'm actually looking right now to see what these thing goes for. GMC 76 in immaculate condition on eBay. What did they want for it? For a total of it's gone. You fucking cocksuckers. The Green Machine. I was all about it, dude. And so much stuff happened since then that, like, me and my friends, we all kind of hit a wall and cleaned up and stopped going as hard. And, all of my friends now is like, yeah, dude, I can't smoke the way I used to. I can't drink the way I used to. I went to the doctor. I got this, I got that. So we're all sort of like chilling. So I got to like try to figure out, it's weird because so much of our friendship, this is crazy, but so much of our friendship was based on getting fucked up together that I know we still like each other, but you got to try to think like, so now what do we do?
Yeah.
Like cards. Like, how do we get I'm used to, when I see them, I equate them with having a buzz or some sort of rush, some sort of altered experience.
Your heart skipped a beat. And you're like, oh, we're day drinking today.
Dude, I remember a long time ago, Me and DeRosa.
He's still partying.
We were such fucking animals together. I remember one night I was sitting at the bar at Caroline's, and I really just wanted to take it easy. And I looked up and I hear this, oh, the big Queen's here. And I turn around and it's DeRosa. And I was like, hey, Twinkle Toes, right? The usual shit. And he comes down there. He's like, so what are we doing? I don't know. What are we doing? We're feeling each other out. And dude, we got fucking blasted to the point I didn't talk to him for like 48 hours. And I called him up and I was like, Joe, you know, we got to slow down, man. I got to be honest with you. I love you to death. But when I actually saw you on the stairs at Caroline, I got disappointed and thought, fuck, now I got to drink. And he goes, shut the fuck up. And I said, yeah. He goes, dude, I thought the exact same thing when I saw you sitting at the bar. So that whole thing when we were standing at the bar going, so what are we doing? He's like, what are we doing? We were just waiting because we both wanted to, but we were also kind of hoping somebody said, don't do it. So I kind of got to that place with like, you know, all of my friends. Like, it's just one of those things, you know, you hit the 50-year marker, dude. It's like, you got to go easy.
I have the same feeling with my family.
Yeah.
We went to Hawaii one time, and my wife said to me when we got there, she goes, how about no booze this family trip? And I went, we're in Hawaii. She was like, how about no booze, and you stay dialed in, and you just no booze? What do you say? And I was like, okay. And I said to her, I was
That's
like,
a hell of a thing to drop on you with your toes in the sand.
It happened on the plane. It happened on the plane, and she goes, let's just try no booze on the flight. And then I did no booze on the flight, and I felt good. And I got there, and then we hung out, and I didn't get a drink that night. And she was like, yeah, let's see if you can go no booze for the trip. She goes, just, you know, listen, if you want to have a drink, if it gets to that point, that's fine. But I remember we went to a luau at like a hotel. It wasn't even a nice luau. It was like in like a ballroom, an outdoor ballroom. It was just horrible. And they were doing the thing and they were passing drinks around and my wife had a drink and I was like, I'm doing no booze. And I remember just watching the guy twist the thing and it wasn't on fire. And I just thought that's what life's like with no booze, is they're doing the baton with no fire. Like there's no fun. The only saving grace is that same night, a mom at our table, and it was all people we didn't know, was on pills and was nodding out. And we watched her family try to ignore it and try to get through their dinner. And all my daughters did was just stare at her as this woman was like, and I was like, oh, that's too much fire. Like you overdid your fire, honey. But I
don't know,
enjoy
dude. I have a lot of conflicting feelings about you know, it sucks. But I also, though, like I lived like a frat boy for like fucking 30 years. And what kills me is it's still not enough. Like, I swear to God, dude, if I gave in to what I want to do, if I just was totally selfish and said, I don't think I would make 55.
Oh, I look at it this way. I didn't drink for like the first 15 days of this show that I'm doing. And then Snoop was like, hey, Bert, why don't you come in my, you know, it's so funny. This is what a fucking.
What are you supposed to do there? That's like one of the great hangs of your life, right?
Yeah. But what's so funny, Bill, is this is what a pushover I am. And you'll get this. He did not understand this. He said from his trailer to my trailer, I'm about to get my trailer. And he goes, Bert, come on here and do a shot. And I thought he said, come on in here and shower. And I went over anyway. I walked in his trailer and I said, you want to take a shower? And he was like, what? And I said, what did you say? And he said, I said, let's do a shot. And I went, oh, okay. And then he looked at me and he goes, you thought I wanted you to shower and you still came? And I went, I'm here.
What you should have said was, Snoop, that's how great your music is.
And we took a couple shots and he gave me a couple blunts. I was still working, so I couldn't smoke with him. But he gave me a couple blunts and he was like, you know, this is for you later. And by the way, I mean, I know that if he ever heard this, he'd fucking be livid. But
Now, don't say it.
No, it's just.
Don't say it, Bert. Bert, you got to learn. You got to learn how to. No. Shut your face.
Listen to me. It's not bad, Bill. It's not bad. But like with his blunts, they're enjoyable like a cigar. Like it's not. You're not like you hit it and you take a hit, but you can sit with it. Like I smoked one of his blunts. I maybe inhaled like 3 times, but I smoked the whole blunt, just enjoying the smell and the flavor and the aroma. Like I'm saying he'd be living because he'd be like, you just wasted an entire blunt. But I was like,
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm getting upset with you.
Yeah. Like I'm sure he was like, and then Cody.
Oh, dude, have you seen these? This is another thing that I would go out and go buy a box of if they weren't $1 zillion.
What?
Have you seen those weed cigars? It's not a blunt.
Oh my God, it's CBD, isn't it?
No. It still gets you fucked up. Marijuana cigar.
What? That's why I treat weed or Snoop's blunts. Like
dude, you got to see these things. They're all green and they look like a cigar. It's like a Kelly green. Oh, it's Irish.
Oh,
look it up right now. I'll tell you the name of it. Acme 420 Magars. Magars, like marijuana cigar. Dude, they got like the half-hour smoke. They got the cannon. Oh, Bert, I'm telling you right now, dude. If I didn't have a wife and if I didn't have a wife and family, if I didn't have, the reverse of a death wish because I don't want to die, I would buy a box of those. I'd have mushrooms. I would have bourbon. I would have steaks. I mean, it just everything that what I have to watch out, Bert, is everything that I love can kill you. Dude, quickly.
I'm going to show you. I love these. I might start with my own money getting these blunts and just enjoying them like a cigar. Like because I felt bad. The first time I did it, I felt bad because I was like, there's a lot of weed in here. It's like an ounce.
A fucking rich guy burning $100 bills.
Yeah, but that's the same with a cigar. A cigar, you're burning like $20, $10.
I know, but it's not like you're. But the smoke, you're still enjoying the smoke. The thing about the weed, though, is that's precious smoke.
Yeah, but it smells
can get too high.
So much better than a cigar. It's so good that Cody.
Dude, that's like the weed version of taking an extra long shower. It's not good for the environment.
It's the weed.
You can do it every once in a while if you're sore. But
you get so high on Snoop's weed that you're like when you're like, and you're like, I guess I'm just going to bed. Like I got done one night. I had a glass of wine, and I was like, and they smell so fucking good, and they have a glass tip. So they're like this big, and it's just a cannon. I mean, it is thick. I want to grab one and show you. I mean, I took a picture and sent it to Rogan, and he goes, "It looks like it's filled with gum," and I was like, "It's so good." But and he's got his own brand, so he's got.
I don't want to know the brand name. I don't want to know.
I'm going to go
get one. Fuck that. Do it for the listeners. I won't remember.
Oh, my ass hurts so fucking
bad. You are dressed like a Midwestern housewife on a fucking Saturday afternoon. Gonna go out there, get in the pool.
All right. Google how much these cost.
Okay.
It's Louis the 13th. These are the ones he's been giving me. And they're so enjoyable.
Those are amazing.
Yeah.
And they're individually packaged. Yeah, they come exactly. They're closed in, so they're sealed.
Louis the 13th blunts.
They're unreal.
I mean, take a look at this, Bill.
Wait a second. I'm trying to. Hey, look up the price, Andrew. Let me see that. Let me see that where it's got a glass tip on it.
Glass tip.
Oh, wow.
And the tobacco, it's not like a Swisher Sweet, but it tastes kind of sweet, like
I hate that shit.
It smells so good. I walked into
Anytime anybody tells me about like a cigar that tastes sweet, I still remember the first time I had one and the last time I had one. I was in Chicago, and this guy had like this really light leaf, almost looked like whenever they had like that Connecticut wrap or something.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like I felt like I just ate pancakes or something and decided to fucking smoke. It was disgusting. It was really gross. I didn't like it.
Yeah, they're really, really enjoyable, and it's like.
I hope young people are getting something out of this, because this is what happens when you get to our age, is you sort of reminisce about the fun you'd have and the shit that you would be doing.
he really enjoys marijuana. Like it's he.
All right, let's not talk. It's locker room shit. Okay, the man is he's a mogul. He's
a
crushing
legend
in this business, and how he chooses to unwind is his business there.
All right, you ready? So Bill, the other night we have movie night out here in Macon. We have a big screen where we're doing the show, and we have a great sound system, and we play Jurassic Park, and they were serving Bud Light Seltzer. I took a picture with Rosario Dawson, and I sent it to you. She had her first Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, I saw that.
And she loved it. She's like, this is amazing. I go, oh, I'm hitting up Bill. And I was like, Bill, I'm here with Rosario. And she had a Bud Light Seltzer. She had the cranberry. They've got 3 new flavors: grapefruit, pineapple, and cranberry, starting in September.
It's a Cape Codder. That's what we used to call cranberry. Cranberry and booze, right? Cape Codder. It's the beer version of a Cape Codder. 100 calories, 1 gram of sugar. Where was this when I was boozing?
Yeah, back in the day. Now they've got the 5-step filtration process for a quality taste and a clean finish. And it was great to have a Bud Light easy drinking name, which is what Rosario loved about it. Is she said, that's so funny. I that's my go-to is always Bud Light. You add the seltzer, and there I am. And right now, Bud Light Seltzer is looking for its first ever chief meme officer, because they have delicious seltzer, but their memes need some work. The job responsibilities include taste testing the product, making hilarious memes, including verbal memes, and figuring out what rhymes with Bud Light Seltzer. Bill?
All I got was that mud fight Keltzer, one of the great middleweight mud fighters in South Carolina.
Go to Bud Light Seltzer, needsmemes.com to apply. And if you want to try Bud Light Seltzer, you can get it delivered right to your door. Find a retailer near you at budlight.com/Bill.
Floodlight Weltzer.
Floodlight Weltzer. Budlight.com/Bill Bert. Pick up at your local neighborhood grocery or convenience or liquor store. Enjoy responsibly.
All right, everybody. It's my bookie. Hey, how you doing? All right. New customers can sign up with the promo code Bill Bert to double their deposit and receive an instant cash bonus. Bert, I'm doing this. This is you betting on football. Who doesn't want to do that?
I had a rough weekend, Bill. I
had a rough one, okay?
I won with the Rams. I lost with the Bucks. I lost with the FSU, with the Seminoles. I didn't have a good weekend.
I lost with the Buccaneers, and I lost with the Patriots. My hat got in the way of my money. All right. New customers can sign up with the promo code Bill Bert to double their deposit and receive an instant cash bonus. Survivor Streak. I love that name. It's like a wrestling thing. Survivor Streak contest begins week 2 of the NFL season, which is this week coming up. Make bets against the spread every week until you go bust. Only $5 re-entry. At MyBookie, it's winning season, which means NFL football is back, and it's time to take advantage of all the action. Free bets, super contests, Survivor Streaks, and deposit matches, all for those who dare to put their money where their mouth is. The MyBookie Survivor Streak contest is open for entry and accepting all challengers, because winning season is about more than just bragging rights. You got to bring home the bacon. Yeah, dude, you get involved in that Survivor Streak. It's like you go until you lose, and the last person standing wins the pot. How cool is that? With MyBookie, you can choose from thousands of bets on your favorite sports like NFL, NBA, MLB, and odds on all your favorite teams. Dude, if I won that Survivor Streak thing, I would get a bracelet, just like the World Series of Poker guys. If you sign up with MyBookie right now, they're matching your deposits dollar for dollar. Every cent up to $1,000 will put you right back. Will be put right back into your account. All you have to do is use the promo code Bill Bert to claim your bonus. Winning season is here, only at MyBookie.
One of my favorite sponsors we have is Thompson Cigars, Bill, and I'll tell you why. On this show, when we wrap, me and Cody Rhodes, who loves cigars, go to his trailer, shut the doors, and smoke cigars like our wives aren't there. It is so awesome. And yesterday, I had La Gloria Cubana Series R came from the Thompson cigars, and it was so enjoyable. That is my favorite cigar to have. I absolutely love Thompson cigars, and whether you're just kicking back after a week of being essential, there's no better way to relax than with a premium cigar. And Thompson cigars,
I concur.
it has.
About time we got a cigar company on this podcast.
Tell me about it. They have the best deals and selections to keep you occupied for hours on end. With over a century in the business, these guys really know their stuff. They got the best prices on the biggest brands in the business, from Macanudo to Monte Cristo, and they have the largest selection of samplers online with options to build your very own everyday Thompson cigar 5-pack fever program, including 300 different 5-pack options to mix and match. Looking to try new rare top blends? Don't want to splurge on a box? Check out Thompson Cigar Tour. A smattering of 5 different blends delivered to your doorstep each month. I absolutely love those tour cigar packages because you get something new and it's stuff you wouldn't normally buy. They also send out.
You're not going to try it because I've kind of like built myself into like a corner with cigars. That's why I like this thing here, where there's a few that I've been trying that I just, meant to try, never tried. My habit's going off the rails, Bert.
They also send out insane cigar deals via daily emails with personalized email preference options, so you can sign up to receive them all or just on the days you feel like reading the emails. Thompson Cigar Company continues to be the #1 choice for premium cigars in the USA because they deliver the very best customer experience. I absolutely love the option of trying cigars I would never try, because sometimes you get into a rut, and even when you go into your local cigar shop, you'll say to the guy, hey, I want something new, but he knows what you like already, so he kind of puts you in a thing of where you already are, and you're like, he's like, for me, it's strong, big ring gauge. He's like, he's a size queen. He makes that joke every time. But
well, I got a punch in my little value pack there. I never tried one of those before. Been meaning to. I loved it. And yeah, I also, dude, I love the domestic one, or the ones that I'm sick of chasing Cubans. Yeah. Trying to, half the time you get burned. So I'm into this big time.
I love those La Gloria Cubana Series R that Thompson has on their sites. And I had the other one the other day with Cody. I mean, literally no one has a better selection than Thompson. Their customer service is phenomenal, top-notch, just the best. So sit back, take a break from all the craziness with a cigar from Thompson Cigar Company. These guys rarely do offers, but now Thompson is offering our listeners 15% off orders over $75 or 20% off orders over $99. To take advantage of these incredible savings, simply go to thompsoncigars.com, thompsoncigar.com. That's thompsoncigarsingular.com, and use the promo code BillBert when you're ready to check out. That website is Thompson, THOMPSON, cigar.com, and use the promo code BillBert.
Let's talk Tom Brady.
Let's do it.
How fucking great did he look?
I sent a mass text out to everyone I knew, and I said, Tom, the Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl. And then they fell apart towards the end.
No. Dude, he's getting used to, there's people breaking off their routes and shit. He threw the pick six. Who gives a fuck? He did that with the Patriots. What I was impressed with, the zip on his ball still there. The competitive fire is still there. That's the deal, And I was, watching the Patriots. It was the same thing. Cam Newton's dealing with the new offense, a whole new team, new system and all that. And I watched what Bill Belichick was able to do with Matt Castle, who Matt Castle does not have, Cam's skill set. So I imagine that he's just going to, as we get through September, seeing, okay, this is in Cam's wheelhouse. This is a little too Tom. We need to make this more Cam. That's what he did with Matt Castle. Make this more Matt than blah, blah, blah. The guy is a fucking genius. The thing we need is the other thing. There's a couple of things that just scared me. That our quarterback had head and shoulders the most yards rushing. That scares me because that he's a big dude, but he's taking all those hits. And I just hope that guy Harry or somebody steps up, so we have like a legit number 2 option. I don't know why we didn't sign Danny Amendola. Is still killing. He's killing it for the fucking Lions. He had a great game for them last Sunday. We need a guy like that, so it frees up Edelman to be single coverage.
I thought, you know what? This is silly, and I know I don't like.
Our O-line looked good though.
like talking about like the politics and stuff of it. But I really enjoyed the protest that I think that the Falcons did on kickoff. You know, like I thought that was kind of cool that they did the kickoff and then everyone just took a fucking knee. You know, I thought that was like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand people that have like. I actually have friends of mine, back home. Will still argue. To me, they'll argue, Trump isn't racist or anything. It's just like, so you're telling me all those millions and millions and millions and millions of black people are wrong, but you as a white person understand their life experience more than they do?
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying the da-da-da-da-da and all that type of shit. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a weird, it's a really weird time. And like the level of hostility, the level of racism that still exists that they make it seem like it left in the 1960s is just like it hasn't, man. It's like it's right. I mean, but it's also the news really. It's so fucking news is just so fucking reprehensible where they really like fan the flames of dividing people. And I was guilty last week because I talked about Trump saying, troops are losers and blah, 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 blah. And right after I did the podcast, I looked it up because it was interesting to me. How's he going to get out of this? And then I was just like, oh, this is just somebody said that he said it. And then this whole thing was written by people, super hardcore left. Oh, this is probably bullshit.
Yeah.
Or exaggerated and all of that. And then I got fucking hammered. I just, by people listening to my podcast, I was just like, you're right. So I mean, I've been guilty of doing that. And it's even stupid for me to bring it up because it's like, you're not going to, somebody's still good. If they're into the guy, they're still going to vote for him. So I'm just kind of excited that all of this shit's going to be over in like about a month.
It's going to, it's going to restart. I hate to say this. I definitely think Trump is getting reelected.
No. I'm not. But my thing is I'm sick of the, I really think like debates and all of that shit. I think there's a few really open-minded, amazingly smart people that haven't already made up their mind and are really listening to candidates or whatever and really want to hear the issues and are really impartial. But the other 99.9% of us knew who the fuck we were voting for probably 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like Trump people a month into his presidency is like, I can't wait to vote for this guy again. And a bunch of liberals are like, we got to get this guy out. I don't think that there's people going like, well, let's see Joe Biden and let's see Trump and they're so like polar opposite. They should just have the election now is what I'm saying.
What do you think about Rogan hosting the debates?
Is that going to happen?
Did you see it? Yesterday, Trump asked him to. He did. Rogan did a podcast.
I don't envy that position that he's in because you really got to watch it. As long as you have both guys that are in there, because if it's just one guy, they're just sort of using you and Joe's massive like influence. But Joe is smart enough to handle that stuff. But like I would be like
definitely smart enough. And if there's one dude I know and I'm saying if there's only one dude, it is Joe Rogan, who would be so over prepared for that debate. Like he is someone who would shut down, throw his phone away, get on his computer, close out the doors, and focus until that debate happens. I just would never. I mean, obviously, I would never want to be that person because I would just fuck it up and everyone would hate me. I would do the wrong thing. I'd laugh at the inappropriate joke. I'd giggle at what I'd Billy Bush the fuck out of that. But
Billy Bush was babysitting a lunatic. He got him by the pussy. He's like, hey, after that interview, he's probably going like, that guy was out of his fucking mind.
And he took the fucking hit.
He did. He took the hit. The other guy became president. None of that made sense.
He took the fucking hit. Like Jimmy Fallon got shit for tousling Trump's hair. They wanted to cancel him. It's so funny because I am so Billy Bush. Like you could say the most atrocious thing to me. And I go, sure thing, Bill.
I stopped short of that, but I would say that when you're just sitting there, and the thing about Trump too was he was a fucking cartoon character. he was just sort of like, I mean, I know he's a real guy, but he was just sort of he was this funny guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's like going bankrupt, and then he has a book, The Art of the Deal. He was just funny. And he put his name on everything, and he was always talking about how much money he had and all this shit he was doing while he's like he's doing a reality show. It's like, how do you have time to run all this shit and shoot a TV show? The whole thing was just funny. Like, I just felt like he was like, it was like watching a wrestler, and I was a huge fan of the guy. So, like, I think if you were, like, interviewing him, and he's saying all this wild shit, you know, if you're Billy Bush, your job is to get the fucking interview and just be like, oh, yeah, okay. And it's just like, and you don't know, like, half of the shit that he's saying it's like, is this what this guy has to do to amp himself up? You know, I just walk up and grab pussies. He sounded like Dave Chappelle doing fucking Rick James. Hold my drink, bitch. Like, I felt like he was in that mode. He was like gassing himself up. I don't know. But I did think it was weird. It's like, wait, so this guy, you know, dude, Hollywood is so fucking phony. And those fucking E-entertainment people, hi, how you doing? I'm Billy Bush. I mean, they don't even look like real people. So his whole thing is just like acting like he's interested in these people who are obsessed with themselves. It's such a weird fucking job. So I think he was just in E-entertainment. You know, you got your own bowling alley. Ha ha. Just
Yeah.
And then you leave, you're just sitting there going like, what the fuck was that? That was a house of horrors in there. Whatever. Send me the check. I got a mortgage too. Let's go get a taco. And you just fucking leave. But then they take the audio. He was co-signing on sexual assault. It was just like, I mean, you know.
That's the weird thing is that if they got, you know, it's if say they wired your house, right? Say someone broke into your house, wired it, and heard you and Nia saying horrible shit about transgender people or whatever. So, something that
you can just hear that on my podcast.
But what's crazy?
All kinds of horrible shit.
America would never question the guy that wired your house. They would attack you for saying that shit.
I know, because I also hate when they fucking go, if they get like a private cell phone conversation and everybody's talking. I so want to be on a show when somebody asks about that. I'd be like, well, I think that's a private phone conversation, and I think it says a lot about you that you listen to it.
Yeah.
I don't want people listening to my phone calls or repeating my text messages the way I joke and all of that shit. So if I don't want that, then I should extend that same courtesy to other people. That's why I never watch a sex tape. I never watch any of that shit that gets put out of there, and the person's like, I'm mortified. It's like, I 100% understand that. And I don't fucking watch it. It's none of my business.
I watch it, but then I just don't give a fuck. Like Chris Evans texted out his picture of his junk recently, and I was like, oh, I'll click the link, and I saw it, and I was like, okay, nice piece. I was like, whatever. I mean, I don't really care. I'm not appalled. None of my opinion.
Well, you cared enough to click on it.
Well, yeah, I want to see his dick.
Who is he?
He's a Captain America. He's a working guy. I mean. Oh. And by the way, he's a big dude. I was like, I'm kind of curious. I don't know how I size up against Chris Evans. And I was like, I don't. Nice piece, Chris. And then I just went on. I remember Brad Pitt, they had a picture of Brad Pitt's dick in Playgirl. When I was in New York, they had a picture of Brad Pitt naked in Playgirl. I actually went and bought the Playgirl just to see his dick. And I was like, that's a big dick. I threw the magazine away. But not like, I just do it just like it's funny because Kat Denning had pictures released to her naked, and she was like, you know, I wish that the public would extend the same courtesy they do to Chris Evans and his privacy to us females when we got naked. And someone on set's like, Kat Denning got pictures of her naked, and another person's like, oh yeah, they leaked them. And I just real quick went online, typed in Kat Denning nude. By the way, absolutely beautiful. Does not change.
Question: what if you send out a dick pic? At what point are people laying off?
What do you mean?
I didn't think that they extend a courtesy to a naked male celebrity.
That's what she said.
That's fucking dude. They just make up shit.
Yeah, I literally.
It was trending all day for 2 days.
Oh, I'm not.
No, meaning they definitely didn't extend the courtesy. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they did not extend the courtesy.
Dick pic. I know. It's just like I just feel like that's an easy. Do you remember like for a while there, if you got caught saying something racist, you somehow got to say I'm an alcoholic and I get to go to rehab now? Like I am singing "We Are the World" when I'm sober, bro. But you get a couple of beers in me, next thing you know, I'm at a Klan meeting, and I'm like, how did this happen? Like that was like a legit excuse for a second. This bullshit that women just keep doing where it starts with that stupid thing that if a woman does it, she's a bitch. If a guy does it, they respect him. It's like nobody likes getting treated like shit. If your boss is a guy and he's a dick, you want to fucking kill him. You want him to get fired. You want his marriage to fall apart. Nobody's sitting there going like, you know what? He told me to go fuck him myself, but God damn it, I respect him. You don't. You hate the guy.
Yeah, I don't think there's any courtesy. I don't. This sounds silly, but like, I don't. Not that I don't extend the courtesy to someone if they're naked. I'm curious, but I'm not like retweeting it and reposting it and starting a website to it. I think maybe that's where they, you know, when women do it, dudes set up websites like the Fappening, and they're like, these are I'm gonna monetize cat denning naked.
Right. Well, I mean but there's two sides to that. Is also women like that go through their lives without ever paying for a drink. So I don't care how good looking you are as a guy, you're paying for your own drink. So there's advantages to women beauty. It's not all disadvantages. Dude, I am just so fucking sick. People have to stop telling people what their experience is like when they're not them, especially if you're bitching about your own experience.
Yeah.
And part of that is don't fucking talk for me while I talk for you. It's like, no, it's like you have no idea you have as much idea of what it's like to be a guy as I have an idea what it's like to be a woman.
Yeah.
You know? Thank God you said yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the truth. I think what's interesting is I was like, if I was cat denning and I didn't want people to Google me naked, I wouldn't have spoken up again when Chris, whatever his name is, came out naked. I would have been like, oh yeah, that sucks. That happened to me. I show my dick. I'm almost certain I show my dick in my new Netflix series. I can't remember. I haven't seen the final cut, but I'm certain I'm naked a couple times in rough cuts that I saw, and it is not an impressive dick. And that's where cat denning is like, I'm like, please speak up for me. Please extend that courtesy to me. Do not screen grab and share a picture of that dick because it does not look good.
Yeah, I don't know. I really believe, like, I don't want to read somebody else's emails. I don't read their text messages. I don't need to hear their phone. I don't have that J. Edgar Hoover fucking weirdo curiosity thing about me. I really believe in people's privacy. I really think that it's their own thing. And if they say I'm mortified and blah, 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 I just go, I understand that. I would be mortified too. Why would I do that? Like, as much as an asshole that I am, Bert, I am not like mean or vindictive. Like, I don't like want, I mean, I've obviously as a human being, I've said shit that's hurt people, but like, I never like deliberately go out and would be like, oh, if I do this, this is going to make you've expressed that this is going to make you feel bad. I'm going to do that. I mean, I did that when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I got bullied. I bullied some kids. I mean, it was part of growing up. It's like, all right, now it's my turn to pick on somebody smaller. But then you become an adult. And what just amazes me is how a bunch of adults are acting like a bunch of bullies. Name calling. Okay, Chad. Okay, Brad. Okay, Karen. Okay, Boomer. I mean, Twitter has just fucking jumped the shark with all of that shit.
You know, it's funny. There's a video of a woman. I think they call her California Queen. Have you seen it, Andrew? It's you know,
I knew
sure
at this point you knew better than to ask me. You're like, have you seen it, Andrew?
It is a video of a woman on a Spirit Airlines, a black woman, kind of losing her shit a little bit and saying everything that is horrible, but that she's ever wanted to say to white people on a plane as they're escorting her off. And I know that brand wise, everyone assumes that I should point out that she was racist. She was, and that she was unfair, which she was. But for whatever reason, Bill, and this is what this is why it made me giggle. It reminded of me of you in Philly. Is this woman starts? At one point I was like, please turn the plane, please turn them, so they start cheering for you. Because I would have started cheering for her because she threw every fucking card.
You got her money's worth. Did you ever see that movie Sexy Beast when they kick Ben Kingsley's character off the plane? That's what I'm thinking of. I hope this plane crashes. That's my favorite one.
She is, I mean, obviously people see it. I think people are outraged or whatever. I don't know. But for whatever reason, I noticed that the flight attendant did shove her. It wasn't unreal. She did kind of shove her. And this woman snapped. And then this other white chick turned and said something to her. And she was like, no, this is 2020. Your white privilege is done. I'm a California queen. You got the recessive gene. I got the dominant gene. I can make white people. You can't make black. I mean, I wanted her to win that airplane so bad. If I had been there, I would have started going, preach. Like, I wanted that so bad. I hope someone would take that video and edit it so that it turns into that Bernie Mac set where I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, dude. The way people are, it's just people. I'm telling you, man, this whole social media thing, 24-hour news network, it's turned us all into Hatfields and McCoys. And like, I'm 50 years old, dude. I've never seen it like this. I've never seen it this fucking divided. But there also wasn't all of these ugly moments being videotaped back then. So they were probably happening. But like, yeah, it's I don't know. I think I'm hoping we're going to come out of it. I just think that we're just sort of the guinea pigs. I always equate it to when they lit off the atom bomb that one time and they just had the troops walk towards it just to see the effects. I mean, so, of course they all died, but like, I just feel like that's where we are with, social media and 24-hour news network and all of that type of shit. So
it's so funny that you're
good for her, man. Good for her. She went down swinging and
went down swinging. You got to see the video.
And I'm sure there's a bunch of white people. What white people love to fucking do is act like it's a level playing field and be like, if I did that, I would lose my job. And it's like, okay, great. Do you want her job opportunities?
Ooh, good point.
As a female and as a black person, the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
like that whole. And that's like another thing, too, where the racist white people try to act like they don't understand what black athletes are protesting. Stand up and respect the flag. It's like no matter how they protest, they're going to find a fucking reason why they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you don't drink because every time I do a podcast with you, I want to have a cocktail after I get done. Like something about being around you makes me giggle. And then I go, man, I want to open a bottle of wine and just start Googling Jeep Grand Cherokees or the Grand Wagoneers. Like I want to smoke this blunt like a cigar, sit in my room, close the blinds, and fucking Google videos of 1950s flyboys. Like I don't know what it is about you and Rogan are interesting guys because you guys have interests that are outside of like all my interests kind of revolve around the industry or the business or like self-serving shit like running, like you guys that's what's cool is like Joe's got one of those badass fucking Broncos, the old school ones. Do you ever see it?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. That gray one. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So beautiful. And that's what you're talking about. Now I'm thinking, God damn it, I want to how am I 47 and I never even knew about this shit?
Dude, I didn't know shit about cars. I always liked them, but I know shit until I came out to California. Like I just would be walking down the street and I saw so many just like if you were talking about collecting football cards, like the unfamous ones are like called common cards. Like there's so many common car automobiles out here. Like I saw a Chevy Citation. Those do not exist on the East Coast as far as where I was living. I saw the Pontiac T1000, Pontiac's version of the Chevy Chevette.
Yeah.
I saw like you'll see like a fucking Ford Escort GT, an 88 Ford Escort GT. How many of those did they make? And this thing still exists. Those are the ones that like blow my mind where I'm like, oh my God, I remember that. I saw the Datsun B210, one of the ugliest fucking cars ever made. I saw one of those sitting out. It looks like a fucking doorstop with wheels on it.
Do you know what Snoop and I were talking about the other night? Which I wonder if you remember. Do you remember football pencils?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what all of that shit was so huge. And if you had one, yeah, dude, I remember we went to like Herman's Sporting Goods or something, and I got 2 football jerseys. They were basically baseball shirts that were sort of jersey material. One of them said Cowboys and was number 12. It was Roger Staubach. And then I had another one. I forget what the other one was. And kids used to be like, thought they were the coolest things ever. My older brother had the number 14 Steve Grogan, the red one with the white numbers. Who, by the way, Cam Newton's 75 yards rushing is the most rushing by a Patriots quarterback since Steve Grogan in 1977.
I remember Steve Grogan. I remember having.
Dude, think about some of the guys we had. Other than Doug Flutie and that dude Bishop, none of them could really run.
Doug Williams.
No, Doug Flutie. And then we had, I'm saying Patriot quarterback. There was a guy, Bishop. I always forget his first name. He was mobile, but like football wasn't ready.
No.
You know, for the black quarterback running style.
Amazing too when you watch what's his name for the Ravens. So fuck. Did you see him yesterday?
No, but I didn't. I was watching. What was I? I watched the Patriots and I watched the Buccaneers.
God. All right, we should probably wrap this up. I'll talk to you next week before you go out on the road, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, everybody, watch highlights of Denver Broncos had the first black quarterback, Marlon Briscoe.
Yep.
Look that guy up. You'll see today's NFL in the late 60s. And he fucking crushed it and threw for 300 yards, ran all over the goddamn field, was fucking great. And the next season, not only was he not the starting quarterback, couldn't compete for it. They drafted some white kid, and he ended up getting shipped off to Buffalo and became a wide receiver. And forever, I've had his football card. And I just thought he was just, one of those players that, played in the league for a few years, and that was it. And then I found out just through looking at old AFL stuff that this guy was an incredible quarterback. He lives right down in Long Beach.
I think they tried to do that to Warren Moon. And I always look at like Warren.
Yeah, he had to go to the CFL. And become the greatest CFL quarterback, and then come down to the NFL and still do Hall of Fame numbers when he was like 30 years old and on.
I remember Warren Moon. I watched something on Warren Moon, and he talked about them moving him to wide receiver, and he said, "No, I'm a quarterback." And I remember thinking, I never have had that. If they said it's that Sylvester Stallone gene where you go, "Hey, we want to make Rocky, but we want to put Tom Selleck in that role," and he's like, "This is my movie," and they're like, "Well, it's not going to get made with you in it," and he's like, "This is my movie." And then I wonder how many of those guys just never got their movie made. They're like,
yeah. When you go all in, dude, you don't always win the pot. But I understand. You really respect people like that. So,
yeah.
All right, dude. This is a fun podcast, dude.
This is a really fun podcast.
Talking about shit that you want to get, but you can't because you're married. That's a whole podcast within the podcast. We should have people send in. Married guys start sending in shit. If it's the bit's called "If I Wasn't Married."
Oh, that's a brilliant fucking segment. If I wasn't married, what I'd get.
Yeah, and I just want to start seeing because there's guys out there that would get like some fucking literally like just completely different shit, like an industrial level, like restaurant level fucking smoker or some shit. And I'd invite my entire graduation class from my high school.
Everybody hashtag Bill Bert if they're going to reply, if they're going to tweet out anything. Hashtag Bill Bert.
I was working with, I want to say.
I like that. Hashtag Bill Bert.
So it's I can look
if I wasn't married, .. Hashtag Bill Bert, and then just send a picture. Tweet out a picture.
There was a comic. I hope I'm getting this right. I'm almost certain I am. His name's Mike Merriweather. And we were working in Dayton together. No, not in Dayton, in Toledo together. And he was going through a divorce, right? And we were having lunch, and he was I think he was – by the way, I apologize to Mike if I'm not getting this perfect. But I said to him, man, you ever just think like, fuck, I'm a grown-up. Like, I should have a four-wheeler. And his eyes lit up. He's going through divorce. He goes, I've always wanted a four-wheeler. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, and now, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not married anymore. I could just buy a four-wheeler if I want. And I said, yeah, you can buy a four-wheeler. And he goes, I'm getting a fucking four-wheeler, man. Like, I'm going to get a fucking four-wheeler. And
see that, though? That's that shit. As women sit there and bitch, they don't see what they do to us. That guy is literally institutionalized. Like, he was outside of jail still feeling like he was in his cell. And it took you saying that to be like, wait a minute. I'm earning money. This is my money. I want to do this. Yeah. Now, I'm not shitting on my wife because my wife lets me do a lot of stuff. But, like, if you're in a bad marriage, they always make it seem like, you know, the chick's always in the burning bed situation. Like, when have they ever made a fucking miniseries about a guy in a bad fucking marriage and he gets out of it rather than burning her to death? He just goes out and buys the four-wheeler he always wanted.
And it's called The Cunt.
The burning cunt.
The burning And it's just a guy who's just browbeaten by a fucking bitch.
We got to change the name, but we should just, as a goof, we should go in and pitch that. We should write a treatment, and it's about a guy in an abusive marriage, and all he wants to do is get out and buy a four-wheeler just to look at their faces when we're fucking pitching.
And we'll change the name of the title. It's just called The C Word, and the poster of the movie has a woman's face that just looks like a gun. And it's called
Hey, well, let's start off. Listen, I know this is coming off harsh, but I really believe it's high time that your network address the fact that cunts exist.
Yeah.
And we have this. Look at this script as a bridge towards some sort of male following on your channel. All right, dude, I got to get running here. My kid's going to be up here.
Bill, here's what we do. We pitch it like Don Draper, where we make her a powerful cunt. That, like, that's the bad guy, like Dexter, and it's a cunt you love.
Well, that would be their industry note.
Yeah.
And then somehow, but isn't he like overbearing? And isn't he like not buying the four-wheeler because of his own insecurities and inferiority? They'd take the knees out of it. They would. Right. And then at the last second, they would turn the cunt to the guy. And then the chick would be, I don't know, they do something like that. All right, anyways, we got to wrap it up here. All right, everybody, thank you for listening to another wonderful episode of the Bill
Bert
Pod.